Welcome to the Aging and Spirituality podcast. I'm Kathy Lee Taylor.
And I'm Chris Jensen.
We are both so happy that you are here.
We
We're
sure are.
always we're always talking about how to fulfill our potential, and particularly that potential that lies within ourselves that has not been realized yet. And as we age, we start to think back on all the things that we've done and why we've done them, and realize that there's a lot of stuff that we haven't been paying attention to that really means something to us, stuff that is really close to our hearts. And that's a great segue, because what we're going to talk about today is something that's very close to my heart and Chris's heart for sure. I know I can say that.
Mhm.
And what we're going to talk about is, what is the spiritual part of yoga? Because you often hear, especially in the younger generation to us, people talking about yoga, and for them that immediately translates to physical postures.
Mhm.
So for people like Chris and I, who have studied the philosophy of yoga, that we know that there is so much more. So today we're going to talk about, what is the spiritual part of yoga. It's really okay, so I'm going to give you one sentence that really sums it up. Yoga is a tapestry of body, mind, and spirit woven into one. So think about it, the ancient roots of yoga that stretches back, I think it's 5,000 years, that
As
it,
far as we can tell,
at least it has been recorded. Who knows really how long it has been around. But that term really transcends the idea of just exercise. It's a philosophy, it's a science, it's an art, and it's a multifaceted practice that when you do it, it will weave together those parts of the human being, the body, mind, and spirit, to create a harmony that will really provide a fulfilling life. So that's how we think about yoga when we're talking about it. All of the things that it can provide in terms of the quality of your life.
Mhm.
So, yoga is really about aligning ourselves with the universe, the energy of the universe. You're fostering a sense of oneness. And you're really elevating your understanding of what it means to be a human being. 95% percent of people on the planet are not thinking past paying their mortgage,
Yeah.
or
Or
getting food,
tomorrow. Yeah. Or
getting
tomorrow.
food on
Yeah.
the table, or taking care of their kids or their parents or whatever it is. This whole idea of that there's more to life oftentimes doesn't occur to us until we get a little bit older, which is kind of why we, named our podcast Aging and Spirituality, because this is the time when you really start being harassed by those big questions and having time to pay attention to them, and
Yeah.
really starting to think, I need answers to these things,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That's, what we've seen, and Chris has certainly seen as a teacher of yoga for a lot of years. People come through the doors with very similar questions. All of them we had, when we started in the 1970s studying yoga. And so that's what we love to share, is what we've learned these last 50 years that the yoga center has been open, is really how to align with the universe, how to foster that sense of oneness. And when you practice yoga consistently, you feel really fulfilled in your life, which, if you talk to most people, they don't even know what fulfilled means. You can get a really deep sense of what fulfillment means in your life, because you start to answer the desires of your soul. You start to know what they are, and you start to live by them. And that's the most fulfilling thing that you can do. Like, I mean, some of the other aspects of yoga that, besides fulfillment, that you will get are tuning into the things that are of beauty. So, you're thinking about peace and joy and truth and goodness and all of these things that are aspects of this philosophy and this science and this art. They are all things that you can experience as you start and study yoga. So it really is, like, for us, the most beautiful gift to be able to have that synchronicity in life and really align yourself with who you truly are. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some parts of the philosophy that we have studied from our yoga center, which is the Yoga Center of California. It's in Costa Mesa, California, for anybody who's interested in researching that, because the classes are still open, the place is still there. And we have an online website called yogacenter.org that you can go to, and you can get free classes. You get on our newsletter, you can get free classes for the most important things you'll ever do: meditation and breathing.
Yeah.
And
Online. You can get it. Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
Free. Please come. So, I'm going to move into now what I'm just kind of calling the pillars of harmony, And that information that I'm going to give you right now is based on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So if you've never heard of the author of Patanjali, one of the first beginning yogis wrote this book. And it's a yogic philosophy that rests on several foundational pillars that he calls the yamas and niyamas. It's yamas and niyamas, naymas. And these are literally ethical guidelines that they act as a roadmap for aligning your internal compass with the universal rhythms. Let me say that again. They're ethical guidelines that act as a roadmap for aligning your internal compass with the universal rhythms. In other words, if you do them, if you practice these things, you can't help but align with your true self.
Yeah, we think of them as the do's and don'ts of yoga,
The
and
do's.
they're the total foundation.
Yeah,
And once you get this, you just soar.
absolutely. Yes. And for anybody who has questions about this is something that Chris teaches all the time. And it just was something that came up for me that was on my heart and I wanted to talk about. But she's the real teacher of all this. So if you have questions, send them to her. Okay, so let's start with just going over what the yamas are. The yamas encourage you to have compassion, have integrity, and stability in your interactions with the world. So the first one is called ahimsa, and a lot of people have heard that one because it was associated with Gandhi. That's what his whole life was about. Ahimsa is nonviolence. It means having kindness in your thought, words, and actions. Here's my suggestion. Take one of these that really jumps out at you that you would love to practice and do it for a week. And then take the next one and do that for a week. But you can listen back to this and get these. You can just Google the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. You'll find them. Practice them. The second one is called
You know,
Satya.
if you just do one of these really well, if you really,
Really well.
you will
Yeah,
find transformation very quickly.
I'm thinking.
Especially with the nonviolence. I mean, that's transforming as soon as you shift into that gear. I had a friend who she was sarcastic, and I was fairly new to yoga, and someone who had been at yoga a lot longer than me, this friend of mine had some problem, and she said, well, she does so much killing. And I said, what? And what she meant was like her words, you know, were her sarcastic words were so hurtful to people.
Oh, yeah.
She was doing violence.
Yes.
So it's really transforming when you think about that. It's not just the actions you do, but it's also your words and your thoughts.
And your thoughts. Well, your thoughts will determine what comes out of your mouth.
Yeah, you
and,
bet. You
and,
bet.
and,
You
and
bet.
watch them exactly. And when
Yeah.
you're not kind, you have to work to make them kind. You know, like
Yeah.
I
I-
posted something today on my social media about, when you berate and criticize children, they don't stop loving you. They stop loving themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Think about that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
kind to our youth. Be kind to other people.
Mm.
Himsa is probably the one that I practice I mean, from the beginning, that one popped out for me, and I always practice it. I think about it like the doctor's pledge, to never hurt someone.
Mhm.
Practice that all the time.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then two, satya, non-truthfulness. And it means the authenticity and honesty in all your interactions. can you be truthful and honest 100% of the time? Something to strive for. That's another one that I love to do. I love the truth. I don't have trouble telling it, and sometimes it's too direct, and sometimes I have to mesh that with being kind.
Yeah, the truth is always kind, right?
And that was a very specific lesson that I got from my teacher. I remember I was whining about somebody, and I knew that I was telling, it happened to be somebody personal that I know, but I remember saying, "Well, I know that I'm right about this. I know the truth is," and he stopped and said, "No, the truth is always kind." And I was like, "Oh, oh."
Oh, yeah,
I that changed my whole world.
yep,
Never
yep.
did that again. I never, was unkind with the truth again. Okay, so but you can see how we've done two, and there's eight, right? And 10. Yeah. And already you can see the kind of transformation that you can have in your life. Esteo, which is non-stealing, respecting other people's property and resources. Not a lot of explaining going on there,
Well, there are ideas too. That's
not
another thing.
stealing ideas.
You read a book and you get an idea, and if you're going to share something about it, you should give credit to the person that wrote that book.
That is so true. Yeah, you want to experience karma. That's a quick way to do it.
Yeah.
Steal somebody's stuff. It's like cash karma. You steal it, you'll find out. Okay, next one is brahmacharya. We're still in the yamas. Brahmacharya is non-sensuality. Chris gave me the right word for that. Wise use of energy and resources. What do you think that is more than anything? Wise use of energy and resources.
What it is seeing everyone, including yourself, as a complete spiritual being and
Oh,
not seeing others as objects,
okay, got it. Okay.
which we tend to do,
Which
until, you know.
we tend to do, yeah. Boy, like from your teens to your what, 50s,
Yeah, yeah.
all you have on your mind is you see the other person as the object that you want or you don't want,
Or you don't want, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can remember, getting past like 50 and thinking, oh my God, I'm free of that. I never have to look at somebody and think like that. So awful. You don't realize you're doing it. You think
Don't realize it. No, you don't realize it. You don't realize it. Uh-uh.
Okay, and then the last one here on the yamas is how do I say it? Aparigraha. It's non-attachment, letting go of possessions and desires. I have no problem with that one.
Yeah.
I'm a real minimalist, but there's lots of people that are hoarders and have to hold on to things. So, and desires are just as as what's the word, as bad as possessions. If
Mm,
you're always focused on what your desires are,
mm.
not open to what your soul's desires are,
Yeah,
right?
and sometimes that one, the thing we're most possessive about is our own body. And someone who I was just thinking of, the guy in Russia, the opposition leader. Yeah, and he really gave his life for what he believed for people, and
Yeah,
that's an incredible example of, non-attachment and non-possessiveness, so
way past what I'd be
yeah,
capable.
I mean, it's way past what most people would be willing to do, but it is the
Uh,
ultimate, just as
yeah,
an example, it is the ultimate non-attachment.
it is, yeah. Yeah, you wonder when that happens, do they really understand? Do they have that enlightened state when they know this is what they came to do? This is, this is for them to do. It's like, so
His wife
anyway,
stepped up, so
yeah, I know, I noticed that.
I love that.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, so then, all right, so we're done with the yamas, and now we're on to the niyamas, the principles that guide conduct of an aspiring yogi and nurture our inner discipline, our self-reflection, and a connection to something greater than ourselves. The first one is sacha, which is purity, cleanliness in body, mind, and spirit. The second one is santosha, contentment, finding joy in what you have and not what you lack.
Mm.
These seem easy, right? Tapas is austerity, discipline and self-control for growth. That's one I've worked on my whole life. Svadhyaya, self-study, continuous learning and exploration of oneself. Again, something we've done our whole lives. Ishvara pranadana, surrender to the divine, acceptance and trust in a higher power. Boy, when you get to that one, that feels like freedom. When you get to that place where you can honestly feel like you are
Yeah.
open, not afraid, unencumbered, not attached, and you can surrender yourself, who you believe you are, your life, everything to the divine, to your higher power. That's a powerful place to be.
It's an incredible act of devotion.
Incredible act of devotion is right.
Mm.
So, good question. So, just think about when we're done with our talk here, where you are in your life in those practices, in the yamas and niyamas. So I'm going to just say a little bit about where those particular philosophies and practices have taken myself. I know myself is in this talk, and let's see if it resonates with you or it's something that you can learn from. So one of the first ones is that I thought about with this practices is that what I've learned is that my body is a temple.
Mm.
And I've learned as I age to take care of it like one. Think about it. Your body has been dragging you around for a lot of years, over 60 for me, you know? And it's not just your body. It's a messenger for your soul. Your body is the one that tells you when you're off course. When you have a dis-ease, it's telling you you're off the spiritual path. Your body has so many functions that you don't realize it's guiding you back to your soul all of the time. And when you're practicing hatha yoga postures and breath work and cleansing techniques like kriyas, these are all tools to bridge the physical and the spiritual. Asanas, postures, what the yoga exercises that people do now, they really purify the body. They release stress. While the pranayama is regulating your energy flow, it's quieting the mind, helping to quiet the mind, as is meditation. And really through these practices, the body is transformed into a temple. It's really, think about it like a vessel capable of housing the awakened spirit. It has to be this beautiful, sacred, taken care of place, a temple, someplace where you treat it like it's sacred. So that's one of the things that I wanted to mention about my particular practice, is learning about how your body really is the temple. And trust me when I say you can gain from that. You can definitely learn a lot from treating your body like a temple. Okay, then the yogic journey really continues to expand. I mean, we haven't found the limits of it. It continues to expand in our lives, past the physical realm. And one of the things that Chris teaches a lot of is the pranayamas, and these are the breathing tools that really help us to calm our mind, especially when we get into the really crazy parts of life when it's very chaotic or it's very scary. Pranayamas can help us, as can different meditation techniques like yoga and bhakti yoga. They really help us to delve into the inner landscapes and get to know the inner self. So practices like pratyahara, which is sensory withdrawal, and dharana. How do I say it?
Dharana.
Dharana. Focus, concentration. They hone our ability to control our thoughts and emotions, and that's what leads us to inner peace and clarity. I mean, people ask us why we meditate all the time. That right there is the reason, because you get to go past, transcend the thoughts and emotions. And when you can do that, let those go, now you're open to that soul peace and clarity. So there you go. So I've been talking so much, Chris, I think we can't do an exercise, but maybe when we get to the end, if you feel like we can,
Yeah.
we were gonna do like an
One of
exercise.
the things I would mention to people right here, though, and something that they can do is with the idea of pratyahara is that as you meditate on a meditation object, and your thoughts are going to be all over the place, and you keep gently bringing your attention back to whatever it is you're meditating on, at some point it moves into being more one-pointed, like it's not so much work. There's a flow of awareness. And so that's where you want to dwell. So pick a meditation practice or an object that you love.
Mhm.
That's really important. It'll make it easier. Okay. So
That's the beginning meditation technique that she just gave you, folks. Don't write that off. That's one to take with you to your mat and practice it. And if you have questions, again, just get in touch with us. Okay, so yoga also helps us connect with the cosmos, with the
yeah,
universe.
you bet.
So, the ultimate aim really of yoga is in integrating the individual with the universal consciousness. That's what we're here to learn. Figure out how to live in unity, how to be one with the universe. And this union in yoga is often called samadhi. It's transcending the limitations of the self, and we realize our interconnectedness with everything that exists. So that's all we need to say about samadhi. That's a topic we can talk about forever, and maybe we will in the future. But, yogis like Swami Vivekananda, who was a Vedanta yogi, spoke about the inherent divinity with each individual, and he urged us to recognize the spark of the divine within ourselves and everything around us. That is what, people talk about enlightenment. That's what
Yeah.
that's what what it is. Practices like contemplation on the vastness of the universe and profound meditation on the interconnectedness of all beings can serve as a pathway to the experiencing this oneness. And we have practices for that too. So maybe we'll give you one of those in the future. Okay, so living the yoga life. It's not just confined to your meditation mat, although you will, if you're practicing yoga, you will love your meditation mat. You
Yeah.
will, you will love your cushion and getting to it like on a, twice daily basis. It becomes a very, very helpful friend for you. Yoga really is a personal responsibility that you choose. You willingly take it on. So you can grow as a servant of the world. And I realize that we're not talking about the majority of the people on the planet. We're talking to, you person who has this calling and wants to be a servant and wants to understand who you are and follow your inner guidance yourself. Find your true self. That's who we're talking to. So these principles that we've just shown you in the yamas and the niyamas, they will help you get there, practice them. The old yogis like Gandhi, he was unwavering in his adherence to ahimsa. That's what his whole story was about. I love that movie about him. I
Lead a
watched.
country with it.
He
Yeah.
did. He was a hero. He was amazing. And Ramakrishna, he celebrated all paths to God, and he really was one that testified to the transformative power of living yoga beyond a formal practice. He was an amazing avatar. So go look those people up, see how they live their lives, what they were talking about. Those things can help you as well. But it's really all up to you when you embark on the yoga journey. It's what you get up and do every day that's going to make a difference. Your path is going to be unique to you. You're a unique individual. And you're responsible for your own growth. So, get your butt on your mat. Do the
Mhm.
practices, study, read, encourage yourself to do these principles, read about these philosophies and see how they can affect your life. Put the time into it. Discover new teachings all the time. As we cultivate that inner harmony, you're going to find that your life is really infused with a much greater sense of meaning and purpose. A real profound connection to the universe can make all of that difference. And you'll walk through the world every day feeling like you've got a place here. There's a reason you're here and you're living it. And that's a kind of fulfillment you can't get any other way.
Mhm.
That for sure. Okay, so so many things I want to say. Step onto your mat, quiet your mind, and embark on the journey that transcends the physical, and it connects you to the vastness of your inner being and the universe around you. You won't be sorry. I hope you enjoyed that.
I did.
Me
Inspired
too.
me.
Yes, our soul bows to your soul. This is what
Yes.
it means. Namaste.
It's nice.
Join us on the yoga journey. We delight in watching you grow on
Yes.
the path. So stay in touch. We'll see you next week, everyone.
Bye
Bye.
bye.